And staying with the news, which is to do with the threat calls to Ambani and family, the investigation is currently underway. And like we've been telling you, the detained person in this case has been identified, and he is called Vishnu Bhowmik. He is a 56-year-old man. Vishnu was detained from Dahisar area, which is one of the suburbs in Mumbai, and is currently at the DB Marg Police Station. Harman Gomes, who's brought us that story on the broadcast, is joining us live. Harman, now that Vishnu, who is identified in this particular case, who's detained by the Mumbai police, has been brought to the DB Marg Police Station, I believe the investigation is currently underway. The questioning is going on. If you're picking up some details from that very questioning, if you'd like to actually take our viewers through it.
Well, Griha, yes, I'm at the DB Marg Police Station, where in fact the person who has been detained, who has now been identified as Vishnu Bhowmik. He's a 56-year-old man. That are the limited details pertaining to the person who has been detained. He's right now being questioned here at the DB Marg Police Station. As I was mentioning earlier to Griha, is the fact that you also have the complainant as well as the certain of the staff from the Reliance Hospital too, who are also present here at the police station, along with the CRPF personnel who are posted at the Antilya bungalow, which is the residence of the Ambanis. Now, we do know from the statement that has been issued by the Reliance Foundation Hospital, it clearly states that while they were conducting their flag hoisting ceremony at the hospital, that is when they say that they received 8 to 9 calls between 10:45 a.m. in the morning up till 12 noon, and that is when they alerted the police here. And now we do know what the Mumbai police had been stating, that they believe that it was a single person who made all of these 8 to 9 calls from a single number. Post that, it was tracked to Dahisar, from where he was detained. Now, what was the exact reason? Why did he decide to threaten the businessman? And does he have any past cases against him? What was his mental setup? That is all currently being investigated. We do know that along with the person who has been detained, there is also inside you have the staff from the Reliance Hospital, as well as certain of the CRPF personnel who look into the security arrangements at Antilya, the bungalows of the Ambani. Now, so far, while we do know that he has only been detained, now whether formal arrest will follow or not, one will know in some time from now, Griha.
Harman, just break it down for our viewers. We do know that 8 to 9 threat calls were received, and this happened not at the residence, but we are told it happened at the Reliance Hospital. Do we know of the contents of the call, since they were 8 and 9 in number? Do we know what did this guy really say on call? And anything that you're picking up from the sources, because we do know that security currently is beefed up at Antilya, like you've been mentioning for our viewers. What more can you tell us about this thing, that these are not just single calls that were received, and the fact that things really are not adding up because it happened at the hospital in this particular case as opposed to Ambani's residence?
Well, yes, that is because, Griha, that the number which was used to dial was the official landline number, one of the official landline numbers of the hospital, where these 8 to 9 calls were made. Now, because of the sensitive issue surrounding, this matter, the police has been extremely tight-lipped as to what were the exact reasons. As I was saying, the police are also trying to find out what was his, mental state of mind when he made these calls. Was there an issue, or does he have any past sort of criminal cases registered against him? Or is there a thing, an angle of extortion? One cannot rule out all those possibilities. Hence, what the police so far has been saying is that they are still investigating the matter as to what was the motive for making these multiple calls. But all of them originated from one single person, who the Mumbai police has managed to track in a record, time. And he has been detained. Now, whether formal arrest will follow, one will have to wait for the investigation to get over. And the reason as to why we have seen in the past too, that the gelatin sticks which were planted outside Antilya, the residents of the Ambanis, had in fact created quite a stir, not just security-wise, but also politically speaking. It had changed the political dynamics in the state of Maharashtra when the then Mahavikas Aghadi government was in power. You had cops who were also arrested, who are still in fact in judicial custody. This was all that, and considering that this matter is not being taken lightly by the Mumbai police, which is why you have such sort of swift action taking place by one single detention. They have managed to identify. Now, what was the purpose? What was the motive? We do know, as I was saying, that the calls were made to the landline, or one of the official landline numbers of the Reliance hospital, and that is when the security, the admin there alerted the Mumbai police. A complaint has been filed. Now, the Mumbai police so far has said that they will file definitely an FIR, which is yet to take place, because as of now, at least, the FIR has not been lodged, because that will only take place once the person who has been detained, who has been identified as Vishnu Bhowmik, his questioning is over. Subsequently to that, the FIR will then be lodged.
All right, Harman, thank you so much. We'll leave it at that. We'll let you actually gather more details on this particular questioning that's currently going on at the DB Marg Police Station, like Harman was mentioning. And once we have more details on what really came out, what was the motive behind the threat calls that were made by this 56-year-old Vishnu Bhowmik, will we be able to update you further on this big story that we are tracking on CNN News 18.